Greetings, LaGrave family. This Sunday we resume our sermon series on the Psalms. Reverend Yonker will be on vacation, so I'll be preaching instead. You may remember that we began our sermon series with Psalm 1, where we looked at the standard God has for our living, the way it should be. Then we went to Psalm 74, a psalm of lament, where we were urged to cry out to God. Then we found our way to Psalm 88, a psalm of despair, a psalm where we were really in the bottom of the pit. This Sunday, we look at Psalm 32. And if you think about some of Psalm 32, including the few verses that I'll read in just a moment, it almost seems like it could be similar to Psalm 88. I invite you to listen to verses 3 and 4. And perhaps even as you listen to those, you might make a comment in the chat section to think about your reflection on these verses, perhaps how it makes you feel, or perhaps how you have felt like this at times. Listen to these two verses. The psalmist, David, says, "When I kept silent, when I didn't confess my sins, my bones wasted away. Through my groaning all day long, for day and night, your hand was heavy on me. My strength was sapped, as in the heat of summer." If we go to a different translation, the New Living Translation, it says, "My strength evaporated like water in the summer heat." That almost sounds a little bit like the Psalms we experienced in Psalm 74 and Psalms 88. However, if you look at the end of Psalm 32, verse 11, it says, "Rejoice in the Lord, and be glad, you righteous. Sing, all you who are upright in heart." Think about that. How do we get from those verses 3 and 4 about our strength being sapped in the heat of the summer, about our bones wasting away, about us groaning all day long? How do we get from that to rejoice in the Lord and be glad, you righteous? Sing, all you who are upright in heart. Give some thought to that. Perhaps you can put a comment in the chat section. Think about what makes the difference to go from one part to the other. And of course, you can read the rest of the psalm too to see that. We'll explore it more on Sunday, so I hope to see you in church for that. And a reminder that next week, Wednesday, we won't have a midweek devotional because we have a guest pastor on July 9. Dr. John Rotman, a LaGrave member, will be preaching. So we'll skip the devotional for that week Wednesday, for next week Wednesday, and then we'll continue it after that. See you in church on Sunday.